Let's talk about your stimulus today and what is going on as it relates to wages, taxes, and the overall stimulus plan. So as you know, President Biden is he's leaving for Europe, and he wants this success before he gets out of town. Well, last night we learned that this tax plan that Ron Wyden, we talked about it here on the show yesterday, this tax plan that was supposed to be rolled out to tax billionaires specifically, has now failed. We thought, well, this is going to be a breakthrough for them. They're going to be on the same page. It's not. So what happened?
Okay. The plan, so let's walk you back just a little bit. We're talking about the human stimulus plan, right? This is the plan that President Biden wanted to roll out that was supposed to cost near $3 trillion, that would provide social services such as childcare, preschool, federal.
On the web.
No, I'm not asking you, Siri. Not asking you at all. Okay, preschool, community college, child tax credit, worker tax credit, paid parental leave, more coverage for Medicare, Medicaid, vision, dental, all of those things, right? So we've been waiting, like, are we going to get this? And the sticking point is, how can the country afford it? Because as it stands, we cannot. You may remember just last month, we hit a debt ceiling and Congress had to pass a law to let us go past it. So we don't have the money to spend, but we still collectively want it. So the original plan was to raise taxes across the board, including raising the corporate tax rate. That went in the trash can late last week. The next plan was to increase taxes on only billionaires for the value of assets that they hold on to but do not sell. That apparently went into the trash can just yesterday. Now, Plan C is to include a 3% surtax on top of regular income tax for anyone earning more than $10 million. You know, I don't have a list of how many people there are that have that much money. I don't have a list of like income tax revenue in the US. I can't tell if these two things equal the same thing. Like, would that surtax on regular income tax? Now we're taxing millionaires, right? Yesterday we were taxing billionaires. So we lowered the threshold. It does seem like that would be a heck of a lot more tax revenue than just from these billionaires, but we don't know. We still don't know, and the only thing we do know is we cannot afford it.
Right. I mean, there were some developments overnight. Kyrsten Sinema, Joe Manchin met for about 2.5 hours. I mean, think about the time. You know it's an important meeting when you're meeting with the president for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Kyrsten Sinema, Joe Manchin at the White House meeting with President Biden to nail this down. And apparently, we now know that, of course, this has been tossed into the shredder. Okay, so this plan, this tax agenda has been thrown out. Okay, but we do know that at least last night there was some sort of an agreement reached on the prescription drug plan. We don't still know what the price will be for prescription drugs, allowing Medicare to then go in and actually fight for or negotiate the price of prescription drugs, right? We don't know exactly what's going to be included in that. Hopefully it won't be excluded. We do know that Kyrsten Sinema has been lobbied pretty heavily by the prescription drug industry, wanting her to basically kibosh raising or lowering prescription drug prices. She was reluctant, but apparently last night they've come to an agreement. And the news of this morning is that, according to the Washington Post, President Biden will announce a new social spending framework, and he says everyone is on board.
Okay.
So I guess this 2.5 hour meeting last night has yielded some results. Tyler Page, Sean Sullivan, and Tony Rome have been following this story. So apparently we don't know the specific policies yet. Paid family leave, we're understanding, might be removed from this.
Altogether?
Yeah.
So originally it was 12 weeks. Then in the last couple of weeks, we've got word that it's 4 weeks, and now it's back to 0. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we keep our spot.
We can't move up on that list. Yeah, right. They're like, we're last. We can't lose that. That's a perfect position.
We're the worst in the world. We got to stay the worst in the world for paid
family leave. Right. We're not for parenting.
So, I mean, education, healthcare, climate, other priorities. But he says what we managed to work out last night could pave the way for the deal. We do know a price tag now. It could be between $1.75 trillion and $1.9 trillion. They were hoping, Biden was hoping it would be 3.5 trillion. So this is quite a haircut, if you will, to go down this far to get people like Joe Manchin on board. That's how far down they had to go to get, Joe Manchin, Kyrsten Sinema, and some other moderate Democrats to go along with this thing. I mean,
look, you think of the senior population right now that are living on fixed income. They're getting they're getting a modest cost of living increase in January, but prescription drug prices are still crippling people on fixed income. And so what is another way to free up the money of people who are senior citizens is to help them out with these exorbitant prescription drug costs. If you do that, you automatically give people on Social Security a raise, right? Because you've taken one of their largest expenses and halved it, quartered it, whatever that may be. Inflation continues to be a problem. In fact, we're reporting that inflation is here to stay. The high prices of everything are pretty much the price of things now. And this morning, there are 3 companies offering to hike U.S. employer pay. For instance, Starbucks is agreeing to pay more. They're passing on their profits to their employees. Costco raised minimum wage to $17 per hour. And what's the third one?
And
McDonald's.
McDonald's
says that they will increase wages to deal with the increased cost of items.
Do we know how much they're going to pay?
I do not know. I worked at McDonald's for $4.15 an hour.
I worked there for $4.25 an hour.
What? This is gender wage discrimination.
Exactly. You made more than me? You made more than me at McDonald's?
What did you just say?
$4.25.
I just said $4.15. Oh, your math is off, Clayton.
Yeah. Again, here's the glass ceiling. Here's the glass ceiling at McDonald's. We're working the same crappy job.
I don't appreciate that at all.
Oh man. Well, but see, I worked on the grill. So I was back in the grill making your quarter pounders, making your egg McMuffins. You were up in the front, just making the McFlurries.
With the square hat.
Yeah. See, I didn't have to do that. I had to do harder work back there.
I had to be the pretty face.
Yeah, you had to be the pretty face. Yeah, nothing's changed. So let me just read what's in the final package here. Okay. So here's what we think is going to be in the final package today when President Biden rolls this out. Good news on the wages piece that has nothing to do with the infrastructure. This is private business doing their own thing. But as far as like what the government is going to do to try to help people, the final package is expected to invest new sums towards, here's how the Washington Post breaks this down. New sums for a variety of priorities, including combating global warming, new child tax benefits, approving new free pre-kindergarten, with some spending financed through taxes targeting the ultra-wealthy. But we don't exactly know how that's going to finalize yet, as Natalie pointed out. But many components have been scaled back dramatically or set to expire. And some of them could be removed entirely, including paid family leave and medical leave to millions of Americans. Way to go, Democrats. Mm-hmm. You run the whole show. You run the White House. You run the Senate. You run the House of Representatives.
And the presidency.
Yeah, well, the White House.
Oh, you said. Sorry. I'm really listening to you right now.
Yeah, you're really paying attention. And this is like dinner time at our house. Yeah. And you can't pull this off. You're scaling back medical leave for Americans, because you know what, Americans are just taking too much time off for all of these medical problems they have.
Well, and it's just a kid. It's like just get a nanny. Shut up and you know what I mean? Like you have customers that need help. These jobs can't afford to have people gone right now. They're making these insane profits, and they can't make those profits if you're not there.
It's infuriating. Yeah. So just
bring your kid with you.
So President Biden right now, oh, wow, I love that. Yes, go to morninginvest.com. That's our newsletter, free newsletter. I love the graphics.
Yes, and speaking of fast food, this morning we had a story about how fast food has permanent forever chemicals in it. That 89% of the fast food that was tested has phthalates.
Little microplastics.
That's not awesome. That stay inside your body forever.
And why is that?
Well,
it's because of the packaging and shipping it to get it to these places.
Well, not necessarily. Actually, scientists were not able to isolate whether it was in the food itself or the packaging. They can't really tell. And it's like, does it matter? Maybe you should just not eat that stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and they also put addictive chemicals in it too, like flavorings. Like they have people that go in and actually formulate these the seasonings that go on them, and then it has addictive things in it so that you actually get addicted to their food.
Yes, there's a whole 60 Minutes piece around that you should watch about people who are like flavor chemists who work on things like Doritos, Taco Bell, the flavoring in like those sour candies that are supposed to trigger something in the brain that makes you think you want more.
Have you ever done it? Like I'll sit and eat a bag. Like I do not eat Doritos, but if I ever get them and I buy a big bag, I'll eat them and I'll sit them down and then I'll just sit there and be like, I want more. So I'll grab the bag again and start eating. You know what I mean? It's like it works.
It does.
It's
like it's like Clark in Christmas Vacation. He works at that company where he's the cereal varnisher. He's like, hey, Clark,
right.
You came up with that non-nutritive cereal varnish, right? And he's like, that's right. He's like, yeah, that way it doesn't sink in the milk and it just retains its shininess floating in the milk. It's like, this is the crap we're eating.
Oh my gosh, terrible.
Yeah. And also, I worked at McDonald's and we were told like the lettuce that they would use for the salads at McDonald's were sprayed with a sugar water to have a sweetness.
I was never told. That's disgusting.
The sweetness in the lettuce. Sugar in the salad. Like, can I just have a salad without
an iceberg?
The whole
lettuce.
reason I'm getting a salad is so I don't have sugar. Like, there's enough sugar in those darn salad dressings that they have.
Yes.
There's high fructose corn syrup and those things. Now you need to spray the lettuce leaves with sugar on top of it, for crying out loud.
Oh my goodness.
I'm going to leave. Where am I going to go?
America.
All right, let's move on from this story. I think we should hopefully have some solid news by tomorrow about what this package would be, because the president's leaving over the weekend for Scotland for the COP26 conference, and he wants this signed before then.
And I should say, some people get frustrated here in the chat, not today, you guys are all, but I've seen people say, oh, why can't they come to an agreement? Like one day it's like we're inches away from us, because we hear from the White House that we're inches away from a deal. And then 4 hours later in Washington, we hear that the whole tax plan has collapsed. And now they're like 5 steps backwards. And then this morning... That's why... They're 5 steps forward. So
this is like trying to get your kids in the car. Like one person's shoe comes off, the other person, especially now, getting your kids in the car with masks because they have to go to school with masks. Like, do you have your mask? No. Do you have your backpack? No. Do you have your lunch? No. Do you have your this is what this feels like all the time. Get your shoes on, Congress.
It's political theater, because it's like, it just feels like it's by design. I feel like they're always like, okay, Cinnamon and Mancha, you guys are the bad guys this time, and then we won't get this stuff passed, and then we'll pick somebody to be it next time. Because look at how their social profiles have been elevated. I mean, when these lobbyists realize how much power these single senators have, they're like, oh, we need to invest in them. They're stopping this whole thing. Give them some money.
Right. Yeah. None of it.
Nothing makes sense.
Exactly, Judge. You took the words right out of my mouth. Exactly, Judge. She's always like
she always delivers.
She's the truth.
She's the final word.
Right, she is. Yeah. Just with that glass of Merlot.